Practice number 9 is in the books. Let's talk about it.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie Five.
What's up, everybody? We're back. It's our typical post-practice live. Here we are, 2 o'clock, ready to talk about practice number 9 from Auburn spring. It was fun. It was quick. Saw a lot of good stuff. So I kind of focused more on defense. So a lot of my conversation is going to be on defense. And then Zach was over on offense. So make sure you get your questions in. I'm going to run through defense first. Then we're going to go through offense. And then I'll hit any questions that you have. So really appreciate you guys being in here. Some of you already in the live. A lot of folks coming in. Let's jump right into it. So right off the bat, the big news of the day was Chris Murray is now doing actual football drills. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago it was, I believe, it was pro day, and he finally got his waiver approved. So he got his eligibility approved. A lot of questions were asked to Golish about it. Talked to him talked to Murray in person as well about it. And I think the common thought process was it's not like you just automatically jump right back in there. Heck, you don't even have a number. Like, gave your number away. So there's a lot of steps that were skipped. So he's going to have to work his way back in. And then last week, every time we saw him, he was working on the indoor. So a lot of guys that are in injury recovery protocol and things like that work on the indoor when everyone's outside doing their individual drills. Well, that's where Chris Murray was, in there running, working with those coaches, earning his way back in. And he's finally out actually on the field. So whenever they were doing their individual edge/pass rushing drills, Chris Murray was there. And that was really good to see. Still doesn't have a number. I kind of talked about this on Zach's post-practice show. It's kind of wild. You got Auburn on the chest. Okay. You got Murray on the back, no number. So I'm really anxious to see what number he ends up with. Y'all know how I am about how I am about numbers and things like that. So he went last in the drills. Don't think that means a single thing, but I think it's just another testament to, hey, it's not that you did anything wrong. It's not that we're punishing you, but you're going to have to earn your way back. It's not like you just all of a sudden you get to jump to the front of the line, jump to the front of everything, and you're just right back in it. Okay. You got to speed yourself back up. You got a new edge coach now that we're going to talk about, that you got to learn. You got to understand what his expectations are. So that's the big storyline of today. Chris Murray is back into the actual football practice swing of things. It's no longer just working out on the sideline. I want to kind of hang out talking about edges for a little bit. I want to start with Coach Hutzler. I don't know of a coach, if I was a football player, I'm not sure there's an individual position coach I'd rather play for than Coleman Hutzler. Just listening to him coach, man, between him and Vontrell King-Williams, they are just phenomenal. They are in it. They are intense. They are demanding the best. You don't get to just limp through a drill. You don't get to coast through a drill. Everything is full speed, and it doesn't even matter who you are. Like, I don't think it's not so much like the third, fourth, or fifth strings are the ones that got the target on their back. Nah, if you're the best guy in the room and you don't live up to the expectations or on that particular drill, you're going to do it again. Very, very intense. Violence seems to be the key word that this defense has adopted this year. Maybe the whole team. But a good example is they're doing a drill where they lateral movement, and you got a high step over the pads, and then you are clubbing the pad, and it's a rip around and go sack the quarterback. And he says, I want this pad on the ground every time. So in other words, don't just slap it and go through the motion. He said, I want violence. I want this pad on the ground. He said specifically, we're not playing patty cake. It's a left hook. When we're coming from this side, it's a left hook. When we're coming from the other side, it's a right hook. I mean, it's all about violence, striking the blow, being the aggressor. And I particularly love that. There's not a real distinguishing, there's nothing that really distinguishes who is a hand in the ground defensive end versus, like, that 5 technique versus who is going to be the stand up on the edge pass rusher right now. It doesn't seem like you have a dividing line so far. So the only thing that you can 100% tell is that Deshaun Womack is the guy in that room. You can totally tell that he has adopted that room as his room, and he's the alpha dog there, and I think it's easy to ascribe motives to a guy who's been multiple places. It's easy to look at someone that's been at 1 school, 2 school, 3 schools as maybe somebody that who knows if their priorities are in line. If it's about money, if it's about this, if it's about self. All I can tell you is from what I can see, he is all about being the best in that room and all about investing into that room. And what do I mean by that? There's a lot of individual stuff, okay, where it's you versus the pads, and that's fantastic. But then sometimes you got to put a human in there. Sometimes you got to push and extend on a 260-pound guy versus a pad that can kind of push back. And so when they're doing those type drills, where it's you got to have a body and not a pad, he makes it a point to work with everybody. He makes it a point to go to each individual person and coach them while he's getting better as well. I saw him put some time in with Chris Murray. I thought that was really cool. Then he'd go over there to J.J. Falk. Then he's working with Jared Smith. He's kind of going down the line. I don't know that I've really noticed that. The defensive side of the ball has not been a problem, in my opinion. But from a leadership standpoint, in that particular room, I don't even really know that Keldrick Falk's awesome. Love him. Hope he goes super high in the draft. I don't even really know that he was that involved with the rest of that room like that. So really, really cool stuff to see there. Kind of a funny note. This is not really like a huge insight to the practice, but I just think it goes to like the mindset of these guys and how they work. But it's a funny comment I'll get to in just a minute. When they all come to the huddle after they stretch, before they break and go to their individual groups, they break, and as they're going, the linebackers kind of hang back. And there's 2 giant garage doors, okay, that everybody goes out. So it's kind of a bottleneck, all right? Just picture it. The whole team going out of 2 doors to get from the indoor to the outdoor. The linebackers kind of hang back so that little space, that little alleyway can clear, and then they just full-on race. They full-on get in a race to their spot in the field, which I would say is close to 100 yards away. I would say it's easily from the indoor to where they rep on their side of the field. It's easily 75 to 100 yards, and it's a dead-on sprint. And they're laughing, and they're competing, and it's really funny because, Bryce Diaz ends up beating everybody over there, and, they high-five, but then they just turn around, flip a switch, and they're to work. They get to work. So it's like that brief, we're rushing to get to work, and now that we're here, we're working. They have now I get it. They've restricted the media, and again, we appreciate any window. Used to, we're able to go on all sides of the outdoor. Okay, so you could go. There's 2 football fields side by side, and you could walk around the edges of all of them. Right now, we're kind of limited to just the end zone closest to the building. So DBs, I really wanted to focus on today. They're on the opposite corner. So don't have a lot of DB notes. So if you got any question about defensive backs, I can't help you today. Can't really see that far across. Hopefully that'll change. If it doesn't, that's fine too. So we're right there on offensive line and defensive line. I always have I try to have a dat dude moment, where I talk about, man, somebody just jumps out. Somebody's like, man, who is that dude? I got to look him up, So that dude award today goes to Tavian Branch, who, if you guys remember, he's one of the late additions on that defensive line of that freshman class. He wears number 91, and he is right on the interior, and he's working with the nose tackles, those true zeros, your Dallas Walkers, your St. Farriers, Jordan Crawfords. He's kind of working with those guys. As a true freshman, honestly, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this. From a body standpoint, he may look better than any of them. He's 6'4". He's just over 300 pounds. Looks real lean. He could probably add another 15, 20 pounds, and he could be a real force. He was really getting a lot of bragging on him today. And he's sort of moving his way, to me anyways, from what I can see, he's moving his way up the board. He's moving his way up the board as far as like when they go in line for reps. So that dude award definitely goes to Tavian Branch for today. Already talked about Womack being the leader of that room. Linebackers. So you go on the fields, it's defensive line and edges are right in front of you. Linebackers are kind of in the middle of the field, and DBs are on the far end. So don't have a lot of linebacker stuff. The only thing I could really tell you is that what's impressive to me is Xavier Atkins. Every rep to me feels like it's his last rep. Like he feels like it's his last rep. Everything is so intense. Everything he does is just so freaking just boom. It's like as hard as he can go every single time. And when a guy gets a bag like he did, you're all SEC, you get a big bag. Sometimes you think maybe they'll coast a little bit. Not him. Yeah, Willie, X gonna give it to you, just like the song says. He's gonna give it to you for real. Gonna read some of Zach's offensive notes here in just a second, but before we do that, I want to give a quick shout out, very very quickly, our new venture, buyauburn.com. Hey, Golish says it best: be who you say you are. If you're part of the Auburn family, if you want to act like it is this big family, be about it. Do business with Auburn people. We're putting together an Auburn-owned business network. So anytime, in theory, down the road, anytime you want to go somewhere, travel somewhere, you can search that location, find the Auburn-owned businesses, and then patronize them, man. Go see them. Go spend money with them. And on the flip side, if you want your business to be a part of this network, you can go to buyauburn.com and sign up today. It's cheaper than it's less than $1 a day. So show us some love. Buyauburn.com. All right, let's switch to the offense. This was Zach. Zach was, I see. You mean Keyshawn Singleton? Yeah, these are Keyshawn Singleton's notes. He really focused in on the wide receivers, okay? And right off the top, one of the wide receivers was kind of back in action, Christian Neptune. He's been working on the indoor a lot. He's back out there, so it feels like he's 100% and ready to go. And I think the thing that he locked into the most is they were doing like even the simple things, okay? Like, what's the simplest route you can think of? To me, I guess a deep route would be pretty simple. Just run as fast as you can, as far as you can. That's easy. To me, a comeback route where you just run real hard for about 10 yards and turn around. Slant, I see, that's pretty easy. But, you just run 10 yards and turn around, okay? It doesn't seem like there's a lot of nuance to that. He talked about the details and how he's coaching the right way to run that route against certain looks, which way you're supposed to break in based off of where the DB has positioning on you. Just making the little things of that simple route, making those the big things. Because if you make those little things the big things, you just get better. Okay. The little things are the difference between, winning a one-score game, completing that, getting that big first down, and not. I mean, bang, bang. If you don't run it the right way, the defensive back can close on you, jar the ball loose. The details, man. They don't miss the details. I talked about it with Coleman Hutzler. You hear it all the time with Vontrell King Williams. You're even getting it on the offensive side of the ball. I had a high school coach, come talk to me today and ask me, I think this maybe was one of the first practices he had got to visit. And he asked me what my biggest difference that I've noticed so far. Like, what's the biggest difference you've noticed? And I was like, attention to detail, man, intentionality. Like, everything has a purpose. Everything builds on another, and everything seems meaningful. So it's like we're not just wasting any time. And this is what I said specifically. I said, that ain't really been a problem because we're on the defensive side. That ain't really been a problem that much on this side of the field, but that one over there is completely different. He agreed. He's like, yeah, they're working. They're working over there just like they're working over here, and that didn't exist. It was a lot more laid back last year, a lot of downtime. Those guys are working their tails off on running a comeback route correctly. They're working their tail off on where their hand positioning is on run blocks. The attention to details, the number of reps are what matter. Starting offense, they flip the tackles from the scrimmage. Okay, this doesn't really have to mean anything because still Stanton Ramil is out, but they flipped the Joe Simmons at left tackle. I think he could play either one. Zaire was on the right tackle, and then your interior was pretty much the same. You got Derek Plaz, you got Cole Best, and you got Skinner. So Cole Skinner. So take with that. I don't think there's a ton to take away from that other than it feels like four of those guys, Simmons, Plaz, Best, and Skinner, three of those guys for sure feel like they're going to be starters. Simmons, Best, and Plaz. Cole Skinner's name is showing up a lot more. It does feel like he is kind of starting to get more and more locked in right there at right guard. Tight ends, another update, Artis Boardingham. He was one of the ones that was consistently working in the indoor. He's outside now as well in that tight end room. And when he came out, he started going second in the rotation. It's been Jake Johnson, Jonathan Eccles. Boardingham is now going in the second spot in those rotations. Remember, okay, you got to remember about this guy. And I said this on Zach's show. I got this weird, sneaky feeling about him. Remember now, he was a freshman All-SEC at Florida. Okay? He's caught touchdown passes in the SEC for an SEC team. So I just think this kid's not just another body. I think he could possibly be something in him as soon as he's like fully healthy, going out there and being second line. Could be something to watch. Let's see. Keep going. I'm going through the wide receivers still are the same. Your top guys are still going to be Singleton, Nimrod, Koger, and then the starting tight end in the other slot is Jake Johnson. So that's nothing's really changed. Larry Scott was really vocal today, your tight ends coach. I think there was a couple of tight ends that dropped passes, and he yelled out an expletive very loud, which something about a good dog cuss, just get your blood pumping. And it works. I don't know what it is, but a good dog cuss gets you back in the line. And they obviously made an emphasis, hey, we don't drop passes. So that's really, it was a very quick, one of the more quick viewing windows that we got to see. So get in some of your questions. I'm going to go back to the top and kind of work through these. Any movement on the offensive line. Again, I kind of mentioned that it's starting to get more and more chalk. It feels like it's more and more chalk. And what I mean by that, like a lot of the same names are out there over and over and over again. Hoping our football games this year can give me less heartaches than basketball. Hey, I hope that football games give me less heartache than football games. How about that? Let's just we can stick to one sport. Basketball has its own set of problems and elation at the same time. Football is giving me a lot of heartaches. I hope our football team gives me less heartaches than our football team typically does. That would be a win. Love the fact that the coaching staff is making everyone earn their spot. I assume that's talking about Chris Murray. Yeah, and I respect that, man. And I think Chris respects it. He doesn't want to just be handed it to him. He wants to work. And by the way, he looks good. So it ain't gonna be long. He's not gonna be last in line. So where he shakes out, we'll see. How we looking, dog? Team doing well? Yeah, sleeping giant again. It's different. I don't know how different equates to wins or if it does equate to wins, but it's definitely different. So if you want something, a 180, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, from what you saw last year, you're getting it. C5, I think it's possible for both offense and defense to be top 3 to 5 in the SEC. Feel really good. I don't want to say really good. Feel good about defense. Depends on what category you're talking about. I wonder if the style, Golish has talked about wanting to have a more aggressive focus on turnovers and getting the ball back, if that will yield maybe giving up some more big plays, giving up some more yards. So as far as category goes, you could possibly see scoring average go up, and who knows if you see total defense go down as from a yardage. I don't know. I think they're going to be good enough for us to win games. How about that? Offense, to me, it all falls on the offensive line, and it falls on how much more dynamic the offense is when you have a running threat like you have with Byron Brown. Let's see. Kyle, I got a UNI from stress watching us win the NIT. If you watch the Barncast, the live Barncast, there was a really funny bit that we had a couple of weeks ago about UNI, and someone said it sounded like an STD. So that's what that is in reference to, which is really funny. Is there any position you're worried about more than the offensive line? On the On3 podcast, they all projected us to go 6 of 6 as of now. Is there a clear talent drop-off? So, look, it's easy to me. It's the safe bet to go 6 and 6 right now, because I think everybody's been like 8 and 4 the past several years, and that's just not been the case. Okay. If I had to pick a position, obviously offensive line, and it's mostly just because of past. It's not really so much about this particular group. I am going to be anxious until, we see what the status of Stanton Ramil's health is. From all accounts, it seems like he's going to be fine, but you haven't seen him yet. He hasn't been able to work. He's going to miss a lot of the spring from like full contact, from like a full contact perspective. So offensive line, and then, it's only because we haven't seen it, and I feel better because of Chris Murray coming back, but just pass rush in general, you don't have that proven production. So that's where I am there. 6 and 6 is fine. I don't necessarily, there's no real way I can like super duper disagree with that. Reverend Barn Booster says, I may be 37 and haven't played football in nearly 20 years, but I'd suit up for AG. His passion has been lacking from our 2 previous coaches. I agree. It's not a canned speech. It's not a catchphrase. It's just feels good, man. Let's see. What's the cornerback room looking like now? And then I see you respond, because I was literally answering that question. Couldn't really tell. The storyline there to me is Shamar no, and what does that look like? Because he seems like he's sort of behind the 8 ball. I know this is football practice, but I've been wondering, does Auburn get any NIL money or reward or anything for winning the NIT? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't even know who the NIT's title sponsor was. That's a good question. I'll look into that. The biggest question of all is, did C5 see Bryson Washington twice in a row? Yes, I did. laid eyes on him twice in a row. He's still real big. He still looks good. So last year they didn't care. Well, if you don't have a good product, you don't protect it. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. I don't know there. I'm kind of at a loss. I'm sure it was related to something specific that I said. I don't know that I ever said anybody didn't care about anything last year, but they're just paying a little bit more attention to detail. But I don't know. Sorry about that one. Let's keep rolling through here. Love AG's sayings. Be who you say you are, but my personal favorite is FE. That is exactly the mindset to have. And I think it is. Definitely the mindset to have. How many O-lines really stay the same all year for any team, college or pro anyway? It's a good point. It's a good point. It could be, I mean, we're seeing some names be sort of familiar and the same over and over again, but like how often is that going to be the case? And like, could that change? Absolutely, it could change between now and then. That's a good point. So, I mean, they're going to still experiment. They're going to still try to work. They got a bunch of guys to choose from. They got plenty of time. They'll find the right combination of those 5 guys. So with all the details they're working on, I see why they limit the window. Last year, they let them do whatever because if you don't have a good product, you don't try to protect it. That's a good perspective. We had a lot more access last year. And, I mean, there were times where some of the beat writers, you're just over there talking with Hugh Freeze in the middle of practice. Like, that doesn't happen. Golish is locked in. He's in the middle of drills all over the field. Zach mentioned Golish was over there when they were working with tight ends. Well, hell, I saw him on the other side of the field working with the defensive ends, working with the pass rushers. He's all over the place. Let's see here. Jake Johnson's going to be a beast. Tight end drop passes scare Auburn fans to their core. I know you're thinking about Preston Howard. Somebody said still no special teams. I actually did make it a point to watch some kicking. Alex is as good as I've seen him. It's from a help. Like it pops off of his leg. Watch some of the punters. And what's crazy is like I would have even said this last year. Hudson Cock is unreal in practice. Him and John McGuire both look really good. So it's really more so what happens in the game with him is when things may or may not kind of go awry. But yeah, I watched Alex. I made sure to watch Alex, and he is as good as he's been. I mean, just booming it, hitting a couple of 50-plus yarders with no rush now, like with a T, but still, like not with a T, but the little thing that you like. It's like a hanger. You sit down and it holds the ball up. You can hear it too. You can hear a good kicker. You don't have to see it. You can hear it, and you can hear it with Alex now. If I ever see a tight end drop another pass, it'll be too soon. I totally get it. And I saw another thing on special teams. Unrelated, who's winning the Masters? I'm going to go with Scotty Scheffler every tournament until he just, I guess, doesn't win. He's unreal. Basketball has carried the last 5 years. We got to a Final Four and 2 SEC championships out. Yeah, basketball's been carrying us. So almost worked my way to the bottom of the list. Sam Turner, I see a question about Sam Turner. He has not been fully dressed out, and he must still be pretty hurt because he's not been fully dressed out, and he's not running on the indoor. So he must still be really in like the early stages of recovery. Haven't seen him with a helmet on all spring. Let's see here. What are we going to do if we miss on Will Minsell? Do you think the Hewlett guy will be the future? It's tough. There doesn't seem to be a backup plan for Will Minsell. It kind of feels like they've put all their eggs in that basket for better or for worse. I'm sure like if he goes to Oregon or commits to Oregon, there'll be some other names pop up. But I really like both of Hewlett and Tia. I think they can be good. I like Tia a little bit more than Hewlett at this moment. Will both of those guys be on the roster next year? It's impossible to know. It seems like it would be kind of – seems like it wouldn't be the most beneficial thing for whoever loses to still be at the school with a quarterback who's the exact same age as you. Talked about special teams already. Oh, this is a good question from C. Foster. I was watching the edges. How does Wilkes look compared to the top guys? So from a physical standpoint, there's an argument he's the best looking guy out there. He is, as a true freshman, he's very, very impressive. He got my Dat Dude award, I think, day one. I was like, 29, who the heck is that guy? Had to look him up. He's got some the finer things about football he's still got to work on, but he's close. Is Champ Anthony out all spring? He's still on the indoor. He's running, though, running a good bit. Have not seen him out on the field yet. We need to investigate if Golish can teleport. I agree. Based off of the him being in multiple places, it feels like at once. We need to look at it. Right guard between Skinner, Lair, or Jacoby Ward. Skinner, your guess, game one. Yes, as of now. Lair went in last practice, and Skinner was coaching him when he went in with the first team. Still feels like Skinner's the guy. So we'll see. I think that's going to do it for today, guys. I really appreciate you jumping in. A bunch of folks in the chat, a lot of really good questions, a lot of good interaction. And guess what? We got practice again Thursday. So we got another practice to go to on Thursday. So we're going to do this live Thursday afternoon as well. A lot of action. It may be very similar, but who knows? We may get another period. Maybe we'll get to see the Iron Bowl period again. So that'll be a lot of fun. Guys, don't forget to buy Auburn. Start the movement. BuyAuburn.com. Do business with Auburn people. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. It's another live edition of the Top Button Podcast, post-practice edition. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home